What's up, GGs? Welcome to week 11, workout 2. So we, of course, are getting into mobility, and we're starting out with the world's greatest stretch. So I am in a full lunge position here. If you can't have your leg completely up in the air in the back, you can go ahead and put your knee down to make it a little easier. But you're going to place your opposite hand next to the leg that's in front of you, and then your free arm is going to swing in between those and all the way up. You're doing 5 to 8 each side. So really stretch deep when you go in between your hand and foot, when you reach towards your hip. The deeper that stretch, the more it's going to twist your torso, your back, and then your hips are going to get a really nice stretch too. Okay, next up we have downward dog with calf stretches. So I do about 10 stretches while I'm in the downward dog. So you're lifting a heel up one at a time, alternating the calves that you stretch. And then I kind of just, when I'm done with that, I stretch out both of my hamstrings at the same time. Then you're going to walk yourself back, do a stretch high in the sky, and then come back down. And you're doing that for about 3 to 5 reps. Whatever feels better for you. If you're feeling pretty tight in your hamstrings and calves, I would do 5 total reps. But if you're not feeling as tight, you can just do 3. Okay, then we have cat-cows in the frogger position, okay? So get down into the frogger position where your legs are sprawled and you're stretching out those inner thighs. And then you're going to contract your core and stretch your back up into the cat position as you're inhaling. And then as you're going out into cow, you're going to exhale. So I'm only moving my spine. You can see that my legs, my hips are not moving. The only thing that's moving is my spine up and down. So when you're in cow, make sure to sink as deep as you can. And then in cat, you're going to stretch up as high as you can to get the ultimate stretch in your spine. So we have about 5 to 8 of these. Okay, next up we have the child's pose. So you're going to lean back and drive your hips towards your heels, and you're extending your arms straight out in front of you, and this is going to stretch out your shoulders and your back. So I like to take this to the right side to get that stretch all the way down the left side of my body, all the way from like my tricep to my lats to my obliques, all the way to my hips. So I did this to feel. This side was really, really sore, so I stretched it extra long. And make sure you're breathing pretty deeply. Take big, deep breaths while you're in this position, okay? So with every deep breath, it's going to stretch out your bones, your shoulders, and then you're going to kind of release and contract your muscles around the bones. And it's just going to feel really, really good. So do this for about 1 minute and stretch out whatever side you need to, all of them, whatever you'd like to do. Okay, here we have the warrior pose with half circles. So you're getting into a half lunge position, but your body is upright. You're having one arm straight out in front of you, and the only thing that's moving is your opposite arm, and then your neck is following the way that your arm's moving. So you can see that my left knee is up, so my left arm is also out. So only my right arm is moving. So whatever knee is up, you're moving the opposite arm up and over in a half circle position. So you're stopping completely parallel to the ground. And we have 5 each side. Okay, next up we have balance beam squats. So your feet are in the same line, pretend you're on a balance beam for gymnastics. And so both of your feet have to be on the beam. You're only moving that back foot. So as you can see, my heel is coming up as I go down into the squat. So this squat is working on our ankle flexion, and it's working on our knee flexion. So this is good for the lower body joints, I guess. So we're doing 10 each side. If you need to hold on to something, definitely do that. You are going to probably feel a little bit of burn in your quads while you're doing this. That's just the nature of working your knee joint. Your quad is directly connected. So don't worry if you feel a burn. This is like also a great exercise as well as mobility. So. All right, we haven't done these in a while, but we are doing dynamic thread the needles. So get into a tabletop position, and you're moving one arm at a time. So take one arm, in this case it's my right arm, take it and put it behind the hand that's holding you. And then you're going to stretch it high in the air. It's going to feel a little awkward because your arm can't really move all the way back, but this is stretching and working on the shoulder mobility. Okay, so we have about 5 to 8 each side. All right, let's get into the workout. We're starting with rear delt flies. As you can see, I am in a bent over position. Make sure your elbows are at a 90-degree angle and you're driving with the elbows up and pinching your shoulder blades together. All right, next up we have lateral lunges. So we're not alternating this time. We're doing single leg at a time. So as you reach your leg over and bend into that lunge position, that lateral lunge, you're stretching out your other leg. So your other leg is going to be completely straight, and you're stretching out that inner thigh and hip flexor as you're working the opposite glute and leg. Make sure your body's at a 45-degree angle. I definitely held on to something because that helps me just focus on engaging my glutes and my legs. I don't have to focus on balance or anything. So another angle, the other side, keep that leg that's not working completely straight and keep it pinned to the ground the whole time. All right, now we have Y raises. If you don't have a resistance band like I do, go ahead and grab your lightest weight dumbbell that you have. You're going to try to make, I guess, one side of a Y. So your arm's not going straight in front of you, and it's not going completely out to the side. It's about right in the middle at a 45-degree angle. And you're squeezing that shoulder, and we have 10 to 15 each side. All right, now we have a seated arm shoulder press. So being seated really engages the core. If you want to make this more challenging, you can lift your feet up in the air. I have my heels touching the ground just for some extra balance. But you're only doing one arm at a time. So hold that dumbbell in a ski pole position, and you can put the other arm out for balance if you want. We have 10 each side. The further you lean back, the more you're going to feel it in your core as well. All right, we have a glute bridge hold with a chest press. So I am holding the glute bridge. My butt is up in the air and I'm squeezing the glutes, I'm squeezing my core while I'm doing a chest press with 2 dumbbells that are somewhat challenging, okay? Make sure your elbows are coming down just a little bit and they're not at a 90-degree angle. And while you're doing this, I want you to squeeze the core. It's going to engage your glutes more and keep you more stable. Okay, then you're going to grab a band, put it around your legs, a couple inches below your kneecap, and we're doing 20 to 30 reps. It's going to start to burn, but like, we want that glute burn, you know, we want to work on our glutes. So just driving the hips up, okay? Keep your feet flat on the ground, about 90 degrees away from your butt. So your knee should make a 90-degree angle. And as you squeeze your glutes in the air, really squeeze your lower belly as well. Then we have bicycles. So lay on your back, and as you're moving one knee towards your chest, you're bringing the opposite elbow to touch the knee. And you have 30 seconds of these. Or I would just count to 30 and do your bicycles fairly slow. Okay, make sure you've rested 1 to 2 minutes before starting set number 2. But we have rear delt flies, 10 reps. Keep those elbows at a 90-degree angle and drive those elbows to the sky. You want to be feeling this movement in the back of your shoulders. Okay, now we have lateral lunges. This exercise is fantastic for the lateral part of your knees, so your ACLs, your LCLs. This is very good for knees, ankles, and then especially growing the sides of your glutes. If you struggle to get that roundness in your bum, these will really help. And then it's also just a great mobility exercise as well because you're stretching out your opposite leg. Okay, we have Y raises. So grab a resistance band or a light dumbbell. Keep your arm at a 45-degree angle outside of your shoulder and drive with that wrist until your arm is completely parallel to your back. Okay, so we don't want to go too high, but we also want to raise it high enough to where we get that anterior delt engaged. Okay. Also keep the core really, really tight and engaged so your lower back doesn't start to hurt. Alrighty, we have seated single arm shoulder press. So grab a challenging weight. Put your body at a 45-degree angle as you're sitting down. Put your heels down for balance, or if you want to challenge yourself, keep your feet in the air. You can throw your opposite arm out for balance, like you see me doing there. We have 10 each side. All right, we have our glute bridge hold with a chest press. So squeeze your lower belly, squeeze those glutes, and then with that chest press, make sure your your elbows are a little bit below your shoulders. Just protect them a little bit from any strain. You're making sure to keep your arms nice and wide. And we have 15 to 20 reps. All right, we have banded glute bridges. So grab that band, put your knees a little bit more wide to add that resistance to the band. Keep your feet planted, and then drive those glutes up and squeeze your lower belly the entire time. We have 20 to 30 reps of these. Okay, we're ending with bicycles. So lay on your back, bring your opposite knee to your chest, and then the opposite elbow touches the knee. And you have 30 seconds of bicycles. Engage that core. Take your time with it. But great job. I will see you next week for 2 more workouts.